Hi there. Are you one of New York's 4 million family caregivers? If so, AARP New York has your back. In our upcoming free workshop, Making Sense of Caregiving, we'll help you explore the complexities of care so you can make an educated financial plan. We'll talk about making a care plan, financial tips, and additional resources. Hello, and welcome to our presentation on the AARP Financial Workbook for Family Caregivers. My name is Robin Haberman, and I am a Senior Associate State Director with AARP New York. I'm thrilled to welcome you to today's program, Making Sense of Caregiving Costs. I'd first like to tell you a little bit about AARP, where our mission is to empower people to choose how they live as they age. Our motto is to serve, not to be served. And we lead positive social change through advocacy, service, information, and resources to improve society and play a positive role in communities of all kinds. We know that caring for a loved one isn't always easy, but in this session, we're going to introduce some of the essential information caregivers need to more easily manage some of the complex responsibilities of caregiving. It is our hope that this program will be educational and informative, and that you'll leave here today with more confidence in making your own plans and a better understanding of how to plan for your care recipient. Please keep in mind, this presentation is intended to provide general guidance, not specific legal or financial advice. Your individual circumstances may differ and should be taken into consideration before taking any action. And while I'm not a financial expert and I can't provide specific advice or recommendations, I am confident that the information we cover today will help you make informed decisions about your financial future. Be sure to consult a professional for advice regarding your personal situation. And I also want to say that I might not cover the answers to everything you want to know right now, but there is an amazing AARP tool called Your Questions Answered, where you can search for the answers to your specific caregiving questions. If your question isn't already one of the frequently asked questions, the tool allows you to submit a question to our experts and you'll receive a personal answer within a few days. We'll talk more about that at the end of the presentation. So let's dive into this. Being a caregiver, it's a labor of love, and it comes with a lot of responsibilities. While it's hard to put a price on caregiving, it also comes with some real out-of-pocket costs for you. You might be picking up groceries, helping with housework, or making trips to the doctor and the pharmacy. All those little things add up, and having a clear picture of what's involved, whether it's your care recipient's health, housing, or finances, allows you to plan ahead and make the juggling act just a little easier. Here in New York, we know so many of our friends and neighbors are doing the important work of caregiving, more than 4 million of you, and 6 out of 10 of you are still working while you do it. And 30% of you are in what we call the sandwich generation, caring for a child or children at home and a parent, sibling, or spouse at the same time. That's why AARP has developed the Financial Workbook for Family Caregivers. This workbook is designed to help you focus on the financial aspects of your caregiving journey. We hope these tools will help you feel prepared to minimize the stress that making those financial decisions can cause. And please note, we're going to use the terms care recipient and loved one interchangeably throughout the presentation because, of course, both terms accurately describe the loved one that you are providing care for. In this session, we are going to cover a lot of ground. You'll learn about the Financial Workbook for Family Caregivers, and you can take a moment right now to scan the QR code on your screen. That will let you download the workbook so you can follow along with me today. There's even a special version for military families and veterans. We'll also talk about how to incorporate practical financial tips into your caregiving, and we'll add some resources to assist you with your caregiving journey. But first, I have a little pop quiz for you. Family caregivers are thought of as an invisible army, but without adequate support, they remain vulnerable to financial and job-related hardships, as well as emotional stress. So let's see if you can guess some of the out-of-pocket costs associated with family caregiving. Here's your first trivia question. In 2023, about how much did family caregivers spend on caregiving expenses, such as transportation and home modifications, on average? Was it A, $5,242, B, $7,242, or C, $9,242? If you guessed B, you were correct. $7,242 of their own money spent on caregiving costs. On average, a family caregiver will spend 26% of their annual income on caregiving expenses. One more question for you. How many hours were spent by unpaid caregivers in 2021? Was it A, 340 million hours, B, 3.4 billion hours, or C, 36 billion hours? If you answered C, you got the right answer. 36 billion with a B hours of family caregiving. According to the AARP's report, 38 million caregivers provided an average of 18 hours of care per week for a total of 36 billion hours of care at an average value of $16.59 per hour. So we do a little math. We add that 7,000 in costs to the value of 36 billion hours of care at an average value of $16.59 per hour. It adds up to a whopping $600 billion in unpaid care. I don't know about you, but I find that number simply astonishing. So, what was all of that money spent on? More than 3 out of 4 caregivers incurred some or all of these out-of-pocket costs that you see on your screen: recreation, education, legal and other expenses, respite, travel, recipient personal care expenses, medical expenses, and household expenses. But why did family caregivers incur these expenses on their own? Love, yes, of course, but also because professional home care costs even more. In 2023, Genworth, a company that sells long-term care insurance, estimated the average monthly costs for homemaker services, things like light housekeeping, meal preparation, and running errands, at more than $5,720. The cost for a home health aide, someone with medical training who can assist with bathing and other more personal needs, were about $200 more a month, adding up to more than $68,640 a year. So strictly from a financial perspective, it's more cost-effective to provide care for a loved one yourself rather than hiring a professional. Here, you can see how the estimated $600 billion in unpaid care compares to other spending. That $600 billion is more than the total spending from all sources of paid long-term care services and supports, which was a mere $531 billion in 2020. All out-of-pocket spending on U.S. healthcare in 2021, which was $433 billion, and total U.S. spending from all sources, including out-of-pocket spending on home and community-based long-term care services and supports, which was a mere $245 billion in 2020. It's a big difference. And these costs, unfortunately, have consequences. About half, or 45% of caregivers, have experienced at least one financial impact as a result of caregiving, with 34% having experienced 2 or more financial impacts. Many dip into their own retirement savings to help pay for caregiving costs. Many spend less on their own healthcare in order to pay these costs. And more than a third cut back on personal spending or stop saving altogether to get the extra money they need to pay for a loved one's care. What else have we learned about the impact of caregiving on finances? Well, nearly 3 in 10 have dipped into their personal savings. About 3 in 5 caregivers, almost 24 million people, have a paying job in addition to their caregiving responsibilities. But more than a half of those family caregivers have to take time off from their job, reduce hours at work, or even quit their jobs altogether to accommodate their caregiving responsibilities. This can mean diminished chances for promotions, less job security, fewer employment benefits, reduced money set aside for their own retirements, and lower Social Security benefits for themselves when the time comes. So, what can you do to safeguard your future and finances? The answer is plan. That brings us to the bulk of today's discussion, the financial workbook for family caregivers. The first page of this guide says it all. Dear family caregiver, this guide was designed to help you on your caregiving journey. It was created by AARP and Jessica Allen, who was a caregiver for her husband who was injured on active duty in the military. She's also an accredited financial advisor. We recognize the toll caregiving can take, and so we've developed a set of tools to help you prepare. A few points to highlight here. First, the cost of caregiving is high. As we've already discussed, most families can spend close to $8,000 per year caring for a loved one. Please take note of our piggy bank symbol throughout the guide. We added those in so we can specifically point out some tips that could assist you and save you money while caregiving. Second, every caregiving journey is unique. There is no one size fits all. Your journey is yours alone, and there are no right answers. There's just your answers and what's right for you and your family. You might be able to finish this guide in a day, or it might take several days or even a week or two. Whatever works for you is what works best. This presentation will simply hit some of the highlights in hopes of helping you complete the guide at your own pace. And finally, this is obviously a sensitive subject, but we all know that caregiving can be very stressful, especially over long periods of time. AARP wants you to remember that it's just as important to take care of yourself, both your physical and mental health, as it is to look after your loved ones. So please do that for yourself, for the person that you're caring for, and for all the people that care about you. Today, we'll provide financial tips within these 4 categories: health, housing, money, and future. And remember, personal finance is called personal for a reason. Like we just mentioned, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. This guide is designed to help you prepare your caregiver's financial life in more specific detail. After you complete the guide, it can be a key resource to equip someone to step in to assist your care recipient in the event of your absence. We also strongly suggest you seek assistance from professionals. For example, once you complete the power of attorney page, will, and burial plans, you should seek the guidance of an attorney. Or once you list your debts out, perhaps you should seek an accredited financial counselor to help you create a debt management plan. This guide is designed to help you through this process, not to replace trusted professional advice. First up, let's walk through the health section of the guide, where we're going to begin documenting plans for the health care of your loved one. This is on pages 4 to 17 of your workbook. We'll cover a wide range of topics, including health, sickness, and even death. And I understand these can be very difficult topics to discuss, but it is vital to make those right plans for yourself and for those you provide care for. Before you begin filling out each section, you will want to take the time to gather your key information that will help you complete the section. For example, before completing the healthcare team section, you'll want to collect all of the contact information for your care recipient's medical team, the doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies that you visit. Let's start with your healthcare plan. This section begins on page 5 of the guide. You'll want to answer some very important questions about the care your loved one receives. First, who does your care recipient receive care from? Do they use Medicare? If they're a veteran, what about the VA or private insurance? There are so many possibilities for healthcare coverage. Make sure you take the time to understand not only who the insurer is, but learn about their caps, co-pays, deductibles, and perhaps most importantly, coverage. And know that these are changing over time, so make sure you have the latest information. On the next page of the guide, you'll list health issues, medications, and accommodations. This page can be extremely helpful at any and all doctor's appointments and hospital visits. Emergency contacts are also a must for any caregiver. Who can step in for you with little notice? Hopefully you have more than one person who can jump in. What other details can you add to this page to help medical staff with your care recipient? Does your care recipient have allergies that providers need to be aware of? Do they have difficulty hearing or seeing? Do they live with memory loss or dementia? If you filled in the accommodations area above, add those details in the last area as well. They're very important. As a caregiver, Oftentimes you might feel alone, but you're not. Make caregiving a team sport. In this section, you'll document all necessary contact information, such as names, addresses, phone numbers, emails, and websites. Your care recipient's care team should know you and should consider you, the caregiver, as one of the most valuable team players. You're an MVP. Caregivers can provide medical professionals with crucial information that can make a big difference in treatment. And caregivers can often provide details that the care recipient forgot or perhaps didn't notice. I also want to let you know that here in New York State, the CARE Act requires hospitals to give patients an opportunity to name a family caregiver, someone who's willing to be part of planning for discharge and providing care at home. You can even go to aarp.org/wallet cards to download your free CARE Act wallet cards for yourself and your loved one. The cards contain information on the CARE Act in New York, and we recommend that you fold the cards, wrap them around each of your insurance cards, and place them in your wallet for safekeeping. Now let's think about some other members of your healthcare team. Do health aides visit your home? Do you have a secondary caregiver that steps in for you so you can take a break or simply run to the grocery store? Who can step in with short notice? Are you a member of a church or community-based club? Could a member of one of those organizations assist you? And do you have someone to chat with from time to time about the stresses of being a caregiver? You can list any and all of these people in this section of the guide. We'll provide you with some information on resources that can assist you later in the presentation, but I would like to mention 2 things that can really help you when you do need to take a break. Respite care is a short break from regular caregiving duties. As we've said, caregiving for a loved one is stressful, and it can have real consequences on the physical and mental health of the caregiver. A 2015 National Caregiving Survey by AARP found that 85% of caregivers said they would find respite helpful. Sadly, access to respite is limited by location, income, and the health condition of your loved one, but one of the links we'll give you later will contain information that might help you find respite care in your area. Adult day programs can also provide caregivers with a needed break while giving older adults a chance to socialize with their peers, remedying the isolation and loneliness that many of them experience. The programs they provide and the costs associated with them can vary, but your local area agency on aging can help you with information. You'll be able to find your local agency through the links we provide later. A power of attorney, or a POA, is a signed document in which a person appoints someone else to act on his or her behalf. Powers of attorney are sometimes limited to a particular purpose or period. Other times they're general, and state laws and POAs do vary, so be sure to know what the law is in New York State or wherever your care recipient resides. Also, keep in mind that the guide only provides a POA worksheet. The pages in this guide will not serve as a legal POA. Once you finish the worksheets, you should seek out a legal professional to help you complete the document. The POA must be notarized in order for it to be binding, and note that many financial institutions and medical treatment facilities require their own POAs. You should also know that generalized POAs are not widely accepted as they have been in the past. It is at the discretion of every financial or medical institution, or even a business, to determine what POA they will accept when you are doing business with them. You might have different POAs for different financial or healthcare issues. You can also name multiple people to act for you in a POA. While many people have 1 or 2 others they grant power of attorney to, you can choose to give a POA to whomever you wish, as long as the POAs do not conflict with each other. If they do, the person or service requesting the POA will use the most recent one. And even though they are the same questions, take the time to answer them for both you and your care recipient separately. Don't make assumptions about who your care recipient might want to appoint as their POA. Where you keep the POA document is also vital. We suggest you keep the original somewhere it can be protected from fire, theft, flood, or other damage. You should also give a copy of the POA to the person you are designating and encourage them to put their copy in a safe place as well. Some people acquire safe deposit boxes from their bank just for their POAs and other valuable legal documents. This is entirely up to you. If your only copy is in the safe deposit box, though, make sure your designee knows that and can access the POA when needed. Wills, estate planning, those are very sensitive topics and they can be very emotional. But it's also critically important to make sure you take your time to complete this section. These pages can become your voice after your passing. The people reading these pages will be grieving your loss, but the information you provide can actually help them with their grief. If you take the time to list out what you want to happen, it takes the guesswork out for them and is a true gift. It can greatly reduce their stress and grief levels during a very difficult time. Just like the POA pages, these questions need to be applied to the caregiver and the care recipient separately. You might be thinking to yourself that you don't have an estate. However, each one of us has an estate. You might just have a few bank accounts, a pet, some material goods, but guess what? Once you pass, someone has to settle all of those things for you. Take the time and help them know what you want them to do. And if you have minor children, you will definitely want to complete the will and/or estate process as soon as possible. Remember, just like the power of attorney pages, these are not binding. While some courts might take into consideration your wishes upon being presented with these completed pages, it is in the best interest of those that you leave behind to have an official will or estate plan upon your passing. So be sure to consult with a legal professional. Again, we're going to dive into potentially the most difficult yet necessary topic. It is so important to make sure your final wishes are known and documented. This will likely be a tumultuous time for your loved ones, and providing an internment plan will help ensure your wishes are carried out, sparing them from making those difficult decisions for you. We've only included one page in the guide for your care recipient, but there is plenty of space to add your wishes in as well. And to ensure your end-of-life plans will be carried out, visit with a funeral home and let your attorney know. They can suggest additional resources and help you complete this process. End-of-life costs are the most important part to consider when deciding your burial plans. Do you have enough in savings to cover your burial costs? And if not, do you have enough life insurance to cover them? Don't leave the expenses to your loved ones. Plan ahead so they can focus on grieving and on settling your affairs. Now, with the most difficult topics behind us, let's move on to the topics that impact your day-to-day life. We're going to start with issues related to housing and life at home for your care recipient. We'll also discuss transportation, which is incredibly important to think about to enable your care recipient to live in their home and community for as long as they choose, and for you to provide the best care for them as possible. We'll also talk about diet and allergies, and then we'll rifle through the filing cabinet. This section is intended to help you and your loved one get their home in order. If you live separately from your care recipient, you might want to take the time and fill out the pages for yourself as well. Make sure you list due dates, amounts due, where the payment goes, and all other vital information. You won't want to miss or be late on a payment, so make sure you do this for all of the bills related to your care recipient remaining in their home: the mortgage or the rent, homeowners or rental insurance, property taxes, and all household utilities. Budget billing is available with most utility companies and should be used when possible. Companies use different terms for budget billing. They might call it bill averaging or a range of other terms. But budget billing is where the company takes 12 months of usage and creates an average bill for you. So rather than having an inflated heating bill in the winter and an inflated cooling bill in the summer, you would simply make the same payment every month. Once a year, the company will recalculate your bill and adjust it accordingly. Unfortunately, this service is not offered by every company, so you'll need to contact your utility to see if they offer it. Also, don't be afraid to ask for discounts with all the companies involved in your home. For instance, there might be a military discount or other discounts because of organizations like AARP that you belong to. And check with your assessor to determine what property tax exemptions in your community that you or your loved one might qualify for. A reduction in property tax can save you and or your care recipient thousands of dollars each year. Remember to ask for discounts on your homeowners or rental insurance policies as well. Now let's talk about transportation, because access to transportation can be an important factor in your care recipient remaining in their home. Do they still own, operate, or drive a vehicle? If so, use these pages to list all the information needed to own and operate a vehicle in your area. If you're the only driver, use these pages to help fill out the information for yourself. Also, be sure to inquire about discounts on your vehicle insurance and public transportation. Those saved dollars can add up quickly. Do you or does your care recipient have a special diet? Do either of you have any food allergies? Use this page to help list those. This can also serve as a shopping list, especially if you have dietary items you need to buy each week. Does your loved one need an EpiPen? You'll want to list the expiration date for the EpiPen. Jot this in the other column or in the special equipment category. As we already mentioned, keeping important documents secure is a necessity. And to do that, you might consider getting a home safe. The contents of every safe will look different. We all have different vital documents. This list is here just to help you get started. You can always add different types of documents to your own list, and some of the documents listed might not be relevant to you. If you don't have a safe and you need to purchase one, make sure it's able to withstand fire. Also, make sure the safe locks and put the key in a secure location where you'll remember that you put it. You might even consider getting a safe with 2 keys so you can keep one set in your household and one at your loved one's for safekeeping. Make sure you use that lock because locking your safe provides one more level of protection from identity theft. As mentioned earlier, you might also want to consider getting a safe deposit box at your local bank. Like the safe contents list, there's also a file contents list intended to help you get started on organizing your files. Consider placing your files in a locked filing cabinet to help reduce the chances of identity theft occurring in your home and to protect them from accidental damage. And again, remember where you put the key or the keys if you get one that has an extra set. Now let's talk a little bit more about money on pages 27 to 33 of your workbook. One of the most important responsibilities a caregiver has is planning and managing money, both your own and your care recipients. Home is where most of us spend the majority of our time, and it's important to make your home a low-stress environment. Though difficult, discussing money doesn't have to be stressful. By taking the time to make your dollars work for you and your care recipient, you can create peace of mind that will help you make your time at home more enjoyable. In this section, we're going to discuss budgets, investments, and debts. The first budget page is for you, the caregiver. If you're married to your care recipient, you'll probably want to combine your budgets. It's vital that you give every dollar in your home a name. Tracking your dollars actually enables you to control your money instead of letting it control you. Our page is probably not big enough to list every single dollar, but you can group your expenses into the categories provided. Anything that doesn't fit into the lines exactly can simply be added to the discretionary category. However, if you want to be more precise, take the time to list your expenses individually on a separate piece of paper. There's no one way of budgeting that works for everyone. You might like using a pen and paper. Someone else might like the app they have on their phone. Or you can set up a spreadsheet or use one of the many budgeting websites that are available. The point of all this is to achieve a zero-based budget. This means you have $0 left after you give every dollar a name. We have a college savings line on our form. If you don't need to save for college, scratch that out and just make it your savings line. Make sure this budget is all about you and make sure you get to zero. We also added a caregiving budget because we realized there are specific expenses related to caregiving. Caregivers spend thousands of dollars per year caring for others, so take the time to list out your caregiving expenses separately from the budget you put together for your personal finances. We also have a sheet to prepare a budget for the care recipient. Remember, unless your care recipient is your spouse and you've done a combined budget, this budget is different than the one you filled out for yourself. Apply the same thoughts from your budget to your care recipient's budget. And if at all possible, the care recipient should be involved in the budgeting process. Investments can be tricky. You need to not only have money to invest, but you also need to decide your risk tolerance towards investing so you can determine where you should place your money. This is where a financial professional comes in. Spend the time researching investment companies and decide which one is best for you. Make sure you ask about their fees and commissions. Find out if they will be acting as a fiduciary or someone who manages money or other assets for another person. It should go without saying, but you'll want to be sure that you're making more money than you pay out in fees and other costs. The AARP Interview and Advisor Tool is a free resource to help you understand a financial advisor's credentials, compensation, and tips on how to get around the conversation started around your needs. The tool is available for smartphone, tablet, or computer. Now, being in debt isn't necessarily a bad thing. Most Americans are making payments for their house, car, student loans, and credit cards. So the problem isn't the debt, it's the interest rates. The original debt you started out with can easily double or triple if you're not careful. The debt system in America favors the creditors, not the consumers. Being debt-free can also offer you some additional financial freedom and peace. There are numerous ways to eliminate your debt. Most financial experts recommend organizing your debts from smallest to greatest balance. You can pay the minimum payments on the bigger debts and take your available dollars to eliminate your smallest debts. As you knock out the smaller debts, you'll feel empowered to attack the next smallest. To build a financial management plan, you can utilize two tools from AARP, our debt consolidation and credit card payoff calculators. These tools, found on our AARP Money webpage, help you gain a greater understanding of what actions you need to take to pay off credit cards and effectively consolidate your debts. To access these resources, visit www.aarp.org/money. Sometimes we need professional assistance with organizing our debts, and your bank might have someone who can assist you, or you can search for an accredited financial counselor known as an AFC in your area. Many AFCs can even meet with you online or over the phone, so don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Now let's turn to something that's important to you, the loved one you care for, and everyone in your family, the future. These are on pages 34 to 38 of your workbook. What does your future look like, and what are your goals? Do you need additional education to achieve your goals? Do you have a retirement plan, or do you need to save more for retirement? And how might your caregiving responsibilities affect all of these plans? It's important for you to thoughtfully consider these questions and to speak with your care recipient about what they want for their future as well. Use information from the financial section to evaluate your options. We've included a page for the caregiver as well as for the care recipient. These plans could be similar or they could be vastly different. And please take the time to check out our resources and key terms page. We have listed some amazing nonprofit organizations and some government agencies that can assist you and your care recipient, as well as some terms you might encounter while acting as a caregiver. We've also got a place where you can jot down some additional notes if it's helpful to you. And speaking of resources, we wanted to give you just a few before we wrap up. Again, if you haven't already downloaded the workbook or if you would like to share it with a friend, it's available online in a PDF version that's easy to download, and you can even fill it in right there on your screen if you'd like to before you download it. Translated versions are also available in Spanish and Chinese. Now, you might remember in the beginning, we discussed a place where you can get all your caregiving questions answered at the beginning of the presentation. There's a fantastic AARP tool called Your Questions Answered, where you can either search for the answers to your question or ask a unique question of your own. You'll receive a personal answer via email within a few days. To search for answers, select Caregiving from the drop-down box at the top of the page. You can scroll through the frequently asked caregiving questions to find one that matches yours, or enter your own question into the dialog box. You do need to have a current aarp.org login to utilize this tool, and you will need to be logged into the website to submit your question. If you submit a unique one, you'll receive an answer from an expert within 2 to 3 business days. You can find the Your Questions Answered tool at answers.aarp.org/caregiving. AARP and other organizations have many resources to help you. We've listed a number of them in the back of this workbook. We also have a Caregiving Resource Center and Family Caregiver Support Line in both English and Spanish to help you with tips, tools, and resources on your caregiving journey. Our caregiving guide is available online as well. It's another fantastic resource you can use as you approach becoming a caregiver. It comes in several different versions because each caregiving journey for you and your loved one is unique. And if you're interested, you're welcome to join AARP's Family Caregivers Discussion Group on Facebook to get support during your family caregiver journey. You don't need to be an AARP member to join the group. And finally, this is obviously a sensitive and serious subject, but we all know that caregiving can be very stressful, especially over long periods of time. So we've included the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline listed on this page. The Lifeline has staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year to talk to and support you if things are getting too difficult or if you feel overwhelmed. If you're having suicidal thoughts or thinking of hurting yourself or the person you're caring for, please reach out by calling 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Make a note of this number and have it accessible for yourself and for your loved ones. I hope you enjoyed this presentation as we come to our conclusion and that you got some resources you can use in your own caregiving journey. We reviewed financial tips for caregivers within the 4 categories: health, housing, money, and future. We also shared several additional resources to support you as a caregiver. And we hope you stay connected with AARP. There's some other learning opportunities that you might be interested in. With AARP online learning, you can discover events, webinars, and more on important issues such as Medicare, Social Security, family caregiving, fraud prevention, work and jobs, and more. Visit learn.aarp.org. And don't forget that AARP is local, offering meaningful connections and enriching experiences close to home. To view those offerings, visit aarp.org/local. We've included our contact information here. Please reach out to us anytime with questions or comments. You can also scan the QR code on your screen to learn more about what AARP New York does for family caregivers, or just to share your story as a caregiver. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you learned some actionable tips for your caregiving journey, and I appreciate that you chose to spend some time with AARP New York. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization with membership for people age 50 and older, offering a wide variety of events, information, and volunteer opportunities to empower you to choose how you live as you age. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope we'll see you again real soon.